Hi all, welcome to the new session. Today we will be mostly discussing about the IAC part. We already started IAC sessions in the last week. It was related to Terraform. So in Terraform, what we did was, it was like, as we know, there is some kind of automation that we did, but it was on the infrastructure side, right? So if you remember, give me a second. If you remember, I'll just give that. Before that, let me say that today we'll be giving an introduction to Ansible. Okay, Ansible. So let me come to that. So for example, we have different like concept. Now, as we discussed earlier, IAC, which is what infrastructure as code, right? So in infrastructure as code, what we did was we automated something, right? For example, we have a VM or an app service or either a KS or any storage disk or something, whatever that we need to have in our cloud. What we did was, as part of infrastructure as code, we use Terraform, right? Terraform. We created some configuration files called main.tf, and we do some Terraform commands, right? Right. So once we did these Terraform commands, whatever the resources that we have mentioned in this main.tf or the configurations file, we can call it generally configuration files, right? So that is created in the cloud. Here it's Azure. All right, this is what happened, right?
Yes,
Okay. So here and so basically it's kind of pushing, right? Pushing means we are just we have some kind of thing over here and we are just pushing that, and it is created in the desired environment, which means whether it's a cloud or on premise or whatever. So here the exact thing is what happened is infrastructure automation, right? Whatever the infrastructure that we need, we described it in our on configuration files, and then it get created, right? That's how it works. And that's how actually Terraform works basically. So it is kind of, we can say that Terraform is a what? It is a infrastructure as a code tool that we can use as part of what? IAC. Okay. So this is the scene that we have, right? So for example, let's say we have a VM. Okay. So basically we need to create a VM, right? So like the components that is related to VM. For example, one NIC card, public IP, NSG, sorry, NSG, also a VNet. Okay, all these things are created with the help of Terraform, let's say. We can manually create it in Azure portal, but we have automated it with the help of Terraform, right? Then let's say we need to make this as a web server. Okay, whether it's a Nginx server or IaaS or whatever. Okay, we need to convert it as a web server, let's say. For that practice, actually, for that, what we need to do? We need to do some kind of actions or something in our server, right? Do you remember initially we have one Windows VM inside that we go to server management and we created some kind of domain control over there, right? So we just promoted it as a web server. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah. So mostly we did that manually, right?
Yeah,
And
we used to do manually.
yeah, manually. And we did that kind of configurations with the help of some script in Terraform as well. Do you remember last time we
Yeah,
could,
the last time.
right?
Yeah, the last time we didn't Terraform as well.
Yes, yes, yes. For example, we just promoted it as web server and all. So obviously, that web server will be available in the public IP and in a port, 80 or whatever. So this is basically a manual thing, right? Historically, we did it manually, but somehow we managed to do with the help of Terraform, right? So actually, this is a configuration, right? Because this is something related to infrastructure and this is configuring that infrastructure. Correct, because we are not creating any other extra infrastructure. Like we are not creating another VM or something, but we are doing something in it. Okay. So Terraform is capable to do this. Okay, it can configure. So, but the main area is like what? It is infrastructure provisioning. So the infrastructure automation part will be the main area that Terraform will be looking to. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, see, but Terraform also can do some kind of configuration because with this web server kind of things that we did with the help of Terraform itself. Same way, let's say if we have Ansible, okay, we have Ansible, we can also provision infrastructure. Okay. Also, we can configure the web server as well. So, but Ansible is mainly focused on configuration management. Okay. So, Ansible is mainly into configuration management. Okay. So, we can do some kind of provisioning with the help of Ansible, but the ideal or the potential of Ansible is to configure something. Okay, that's why configuration management is coming. So if we need to like create a web server or we need to some kind of configurations in it in some kind of infrastructure, we can achieve with the help of Ansible. Okay.
So, sir, can't we do that in Terraform?
No. Ansible is separate actually.
Okay. So
Okay.
we just use Ansible for some configuration part. That's it.
Yeah. So
And
both tools,
so,
Terraform and Ansible can do both, but Terraform is ideally mostly into infrastructure automation or infrastructure provisioning, and Ansible is mainly into configuration. Okay, infrastructure configuration or configuration management, we can call.
okay, okay,
Okay, got it? What's the difference?
okay. Yeah, I mean, in Terraform, we just do the infrastructure part, and Ansible we do the configuration part. So is that means, sir, like let's say if we create some VMs and all, load balancer and all in Terraform, and
Mhm.
then what exactly does this Ansible do like here? I mean, are we going to create the same? Because VM is all VM and everything is an infrastructure, right?
Yeah, we can create it with the help of Terraform. We don't need to look into Ansible because for us, if we are mastering in Terraform, that's fine because we are able to create resources like infrastructure with the help of Terraform. That's fine. We don't need
Okay.
to like stick on Ansible then. But when we need
Okay.
Ansible, like uh, whenever we need to configure something, then we need an Ansible. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So for that purpose, we can use Ansible, and both are we can say that both are a subset of this IAC because both
Okay.
are related to automating, right? Because
Automating.
configuration automation or infrastructure automation, whatever, but the automation is happening. So how we are doing that with the help of some code, right? IAC, which means infrastructure as code. So Terraform, Ansible, everything comes under that. But Terraform is mainly into provisioning the resources in some kind of what in on-premises or cloud or whatever. And in Ansible, what they did was like mostly they will be into the configuration management. So they can do some kind of configuration with the help of some kind of code. Okay. Here we use Terraform configuration files, right? It is for like we normally create, as I said, we created some .tf files. We will call it as configuration files, Terraform configuration files. And we will do some commands like Terraform init. You remember Terraform init. Then from init, we did what? Terraform plan. Then from plan, we have Terraform apply, right? So eventually we will have that resource up. And if we need to destroy, we can use this, right? So that's
Yeah. So,
the workflow that we have followed in terms of Terraform, right?
okay.
Yeah, we got
So
to
those
know.
are the infrastructure part, right?
Yeah, it is like so initially we created a file and then we initiated it like so the provider all comes into the directory. Then we plan. Then after that they have applied, and then if it's optional whether we need to destroy or not, that's our intention. So this is how the workflow works, and we can use that accordingly, right?
Okay.
Okay. So that was Terraform, but let's say comes to Ansible, it is like strictly into or mostly into the configuration management part. Okay. So it can help us in different kind of skill scenarios actually. So I'll give you an overview on what kind of scenarios and what all things that Ansible is handling and all. So let's see that. Let me. So let's say Ansible. As I said, Ansible is a mainly into configuration management. So let's consider we are a system engineer and we have some kind of repetitive task to do. Okay, we have a couple of repetitive tasks to do. And for example, changing some configurations. Okay, task means configuration changes, or maybe there will be some kind of what we can say there will be some kind of patching. You know what is patching? some kind of updates or upgrades you can call.
Okay, packaging, right?
Yeah, like not
Yeah.
packaging. It's like patching means installing the latest releases in the existing software. That's what patching means.
Okay.
So it's kind of like you know we may say that keep updated with your softwares, right? So there will be different releases that they will be releasing. For example, in Microsoft, they'll be releasing their updates in every month. So if we need to avail that security or whatever the features that they are providing, we need to be updated, right? So that kind of activity, normally we will call it as patching, okay? And there will be some certain kind of things, right? Audits or something, okay, or security, that kind of different task, okay? So the main thing is it may needs hundreds of commands, okay? So even if it is like a task, we need a lot of commands to do that, okay? In that kind of scenario, Ansible may help you, which means in terms of managing these kind of configuration changes or something inside the existing infrastructure, Ansible can help us. Okay. So let's say these are some VMs. Let's say these are some desks, servers that we have. Okay. And we need to, with the help of Ansible, I'm using A for Ansible. Okay. What we can do is, for example, these are databases. These are web servers, okay? Okay. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. This much servers I have. Okay. So the thing is, I need to, my requirement is, or let's say there are some policies. We need to stop the servers at 10 p.m. Okay. And we need to start the servers at 8 a.m. For example, okay. So actually in Azure, there are options to enable auto shutdown. So if you go that, if you have a VM over there, if you go to that left blade, you can see that there is an option to enable auto shutdown. So even if your this VM is up, it will automatically shut down. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Which screen you are seeing now?
The the marker and board.
Okay, 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 okay. Okay, so if you are going to that VM, then under operations or something, you will get auto shutdown option. Okay, from that you can enable the auto shutdown as well. Okay. From there that you can do. And it's like, so we can do that kind of things here. But the main concern is there is there is some interdependency. Means web server we have, right? We have web server as well as database server. Okay. So we need to make sure that web server must be turned off once web server, DB server has to be turned off right after web servers go down, which means if web server is shutting down at 10 p.m., DB server must go down at 10:30 p.m. like that. So ideally the thing is whenever DB server is go down at that time, web server must be turned off. Got it?
No,
Got
so
it?
can you just come again? Like, I didn't got it.
Sorry.
No, I mean, can we just come again? Like, I didn't got it. Can you just repeat again?
Yeah. Currently we have 8 servers here, right?
Yeah, we got 8 servers.
Yeah. And we need to make sure that whenever the web server is going down, okay, going down, once the shutdown process, everything is completed, then only DB server needs to go down. And
Yeah.
whenever and whenever we are starting the service, DB service has to come first. Okay.
Okay.
And then only web server needs to come in. Okay, got it?
Okay. So
For
once, I
example,
mean,
whenever web
like
server,
alternative.
yeah, like whenever web server is up, at that time, DB server must be available there.
Okay. So whenever the web server is there, then the DB server should also be there, you mean, right?
Yeah. Even if web server is shutting, is turned off, server has to be up. So
Okay.
it is
Okay.
like,
Same like a load balancer.
it is like there is a dependency. Like if we need to bring up web server, the DB server has to be up and running. Like that.
Okay.
Okay. So if both servers are running, we can't shut down DB server directly. We need to shut down web server first, then we need to shut down DB.
Okay.
If we are turning on, we need to turn on DB first, then only web server. Got it?
Okay. So DB is basically the database, right?
Yeah, database.
Okay.
Whatever the storage or some kind of thing that they require. Got it? The idea you got it?
Yes, sir. I got it.
Okay. So in that kind of situations, there are 8 servers that we can manage no issues whether we can manually do it and all. But let's say if we have 100 servers or something, at that time it will be very difficult, right, to manage.
Yes, sir.
So normally what we did, we will use the help of some kind of scripts because it's a repetitive task, so that we can depend on some kind of scripts, let's say. So if we think about script, it is like, it is a time consuming one to create some scripts like PowerShell script or Python script or Bash script, like that. Like a script is basically for a single task or a small task. Okay, like
Okay.
copying a file or updating some file or something like that. Okay. So we can achieve these kind of things with the help of some kind of scripts. So basically the issue of script is like it will be time consuming. It will be like needing some kind of coding skills because it is having from Python or PowerShell or Bash or something like that, right? So it needs some kind of coding knowledge as well. Also, it needs some kind of maintenance in future, right?
Okay.
Okay. So if we use any kind of that kind of scripts, then these are the things that comes into screen. And then when we say an Ansible, okay, the thing is it's actually simple to handle. Okay. And it is like we can say it's an agentless one. I'll come to that. Why agentless means we don't need to install anything on the targeted server that we are looking into. Okay. For example, if we need to convert a server as a web server, sorry, a machine as a web server, we don't need to install anything for Ansible. Okay. You can directly run it. No issues. But if we are managing that server from any other remote server, for example, if we are managing some servers from our laptop, then we need to install that Ansible in our local laptop, but we don't need to install anything inside the target server. Got it?
Okay.
That is what is basically agentless means.
So basically, if we just wanna manage that server, so we have to install. We have to go through the Ansible for managing it, right?
Yeah, basically the configuration management, increasing
Okay.
SKU, like increasing RAM, different kind of things, right? Or maybe the disk using the like more disk spaces or a lot of things happening. Hmm?
Okay.
So, so these are the
But so
difference.
like once the VM is created, like we
Hmm.
can't do some configurations, right? So is it possible with Ansible?
Yeah, that's what I am exactly heading towards.
Okay, okay. I mean,
Got it.
because I mean, in the portal on the portal itself and on the Terraform, like we couldn't able to manage it like once we create the VMs, right? But here in Ansible, like we could do some configurations even though after creation of the VM, right?
Exactly. Like in Terraform, what we did was we created some resources with the help of Terraform code. Okay, VM, whatever we have created. We also promoted as a web server with the help of Terraform also. Okay. So
Yes,
you
sir.
remember we created one web server, right? So
Yes, sir.
yeah, that kind of configurations can be more flexible in Ansible. So that's why we are using Ansible for configuration management. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Okay. For example, in script, if we need to mention 50 lines, right? And just taking an estimate or a random values, if we need to mention accomplish a task with the 50 lines, maybe Ansible can do it in 10 lines. So it's just quite simple. Okay. And Ansible is using YAML files as well. Okay. Okay, got it?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay.
So in Terraform, let's say if we are getting like 50 line script line to make any resource or something,
Mm,
whereas in Ansible, like those script like would be like
mm.
just as less as just 10 lines.
Yeah, using Ansible, you can do some configurations and so it will be mainly into configuration management part.
Okay, okay.
And if you go to Ansible documentation, it's also an what we can say it's a extensive one. So it's like you will get a lot of information from there so that you can look into and you will get if you need to like dive deeper means more advanced way, you can follow that also. Okay, I'm giving you a heads up, that kind of thing. Okay. So yeah, this is how the entire structure or the use of an Ansible. And like there are what we can say in terms of importance, let's say, if we consider Terraform as a starter or as a aspirant of cloud or DevOps, Ansible is important, but more than actually Terraform is important because currently we are learning. That's why. Okay. Once you are good with that kind of things, then and make good knowledge in Ansible. So it will help you to explore more. It will give you more exposure as well. Because the importance is to create the infrastructure first, then we can manage that, right? So actually, it is both are equal important, but as a enthusiast, we need to first of all create, right? Then we need to manage. So we can follow like that. And what we can do is like on the so yeah, this is the main overview that currently I'm looking into. And what I can say is like I can come with a lab showing you what all things, how we are creating and all things in the next session, which is happening tomorrow itself. So in that, what we will be discussing is like we'll be um, like discussing on the Terraform, the Ansible configuration file, which means what is a configuration file which is related to Ansible. The Ansible is mainly having .cfg file. Okay, configuration file means .cfg file. That's the file that it is using, and it has a default location as well. Default location means it will be in an etc slash Ansible slash then ansible.config. Okay, .cfg. Okay, this will be the default location. Okay, and always Ansible will be referring to this default location unless and until we mention some other directory to that, like that. So that how it will be working. Okay, and yeah, we'll cover that commands part, and also we'll try to create two servers, and we'll do some kind of ping test and all with the help of Terraform, with Ansible. So you will be able to understand what is the basic motive of Ansible, or basic things that we can do with Ansible. Okay. So we'll cover that in the next sessions. Do you have any questions on this? What's for like the introduction on Ansible?
No, no. So far it's clear.
Clear, right?
We are just responsible for the configuration part. I mean, may I just ask, sir? I mean, what kind of language are we gonna use in Ansible?
Yeah, it's a YAML file itself. YAML file itself.
Oh, YAML. Okay,
You
YAML.
remember we created YAML pipelines and all, right? So
Yeah.
similarly, like we will have a YAML pipelines. So sorry, not pipelines, sorry, YAML files basically. So in that we
Okay.
can mention, for example, a simple, yeah, we can discuss on that next session. So it's not much a big deal to to interact with those kind of YAML files, because that's I said, no, if we have 50 lines in a scripted language, it will be like less than 10 lines that we can mention the same in Ansible. It's like that. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so we can think about it, and I will cover it in tomorrow's session. Okay. Hmm?
Okay, sir.
Okay. So yeah, I think that's what I planned for today. So
Okay, sir.
let's cover the rest of the part from the upcoming sessions. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.